What's up?
How are you?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Good. Sorry it took me so long to figure this out.
That's fine.
This is not my strong suit.
Well, we're gonna change that.
Yeah, we do. It's embarrassing.
Listen, that's part of what this conversation is about. What in the heck have you been?
Actually, I thought Instagram was something for kids, like Facebook, and my web designer said, "Don't be an idiot. Learn how to use Instagram because all the art galleries are on it. You know, people you want to talk to are on it and do the same thing you do." And I said, "Really?" So,
It's a whole new world.
yeah. Well, I'm older than dirt, so this is a learning curve.
Listen, you can't own that because we've had John Jordan on here.
Well, that's true. Love John.
I do too.
He's been using his tools for decades.
Good, yeah, great guy.
Yep.
Okay, so introduce yourself and tell us where you are, and then we'll get into the questions and we'll get into your journey. Can you hear me or have the fan on?
I hear you fine.
Okay, all right. So let's go.
Okay. Steve Miller. I live in Black Mountain, North Carolina for the last 10 years, and formerly from Miami, Florida, where I was born and raised.
Okay.
I spent 54 years there before I came
All
here.
right, hold, that's it. So we're gonna get back to that where you could give us that whole deal, and I'm gonna work with you to do that. Now we're gonna get into the questions and try to learn a little more about you.
Okay.
If you had the opportunity to, would you go on the moon?
I think I would.
All right, why?
Something completely different.
Just like Instagram.
Yeah. For me, it's just about as hard.
What word or phrase do you overuse?
That is a good question. Maybe it is what it is. I think that's really overused. By me and a few others. That's like a cop-out.
Yes, and there are times where it shouldn't be used and it is.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite thing to do?
As far as what I do,
Life.
income taxes, figuring out the computer. Probably figuring out the computer is number one. It makes me crazy. It makes my wife crazy.
And as you can see, it's really not that difficult.
I wish I could agree with you.
Well, it's the mental on the other side of it. It's you assuming that it's the unfamiliarity with it that makes it appear to be difficult.
Well, I use it every day. You'd think I'd have it by now. Even
Absolutely.
with the dry run connection we did for this, I still screwed it up.
I didn't want to say, we only did this yesterday.
Yeah. See what I mean? It's easier to get to the moon.
Right. And I'm thinking, Steve, that might not be the computer.
Oh, believe me, that's been brought to my...
What is your most favorite thing to do?
Carving.
Okay.
I like to carve my turnings.
What is the one thing your wife would like to change about you?
That I give this up completely.
Turning or the computer?
Probably both.
Why?
The time that it takes, I think.
So it's not the turning, it's that you won't go inside.
Yeah. And the computer stuff, I think, just adds to her frustration.
Now, does that add to her frustration because you're like, hey, honey, come in and help me out?
Yeah, a lot. A lot.
When this is over, I'm going to see this video of the skit they did on homeschooling. It was two adults. and one winds up getting beat with a belt.
I'm sure she feels that way.
What makes you tick?
Well, I've been retired now for a long time. So basically this makes me tick. The wood turning, I like the art show circuit, the whole art thing with the galleries, and I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah. My wife would disagree with that.
Right. She wanted to retire with you, and now all of a sudden it's a damn job.
Yes. Wait a minute. You sound just like her. I don't know how that happened, but kind of snuck in there.
Right. What irks you the most?
Hurts me the most?
Irks.
Oh, irks me the most. I don't know. I'm pretty laid back with this stuff.
All right.
It irks my wife a lot. On the other hand, she always knows where I am.
Right. And where the money's going.
This is the other woman.
And listen, and I've learned it doesn't matter what it is. The other woman is the other woman. Whether it's a car, whether it's wood, whether it's whatever it is, it takes time away from the number one.
You got it.
What sound makes you happiest?
Probably my puppy talking to me. I have a 130-pound-year-old bull mastiff, and she talks. She talks, just rambles on and on. It's hilarious. That makes me very happy.
130, that's a big dog.
It is. She just turned 1.
Wow.
But she'll sit there and talk to me.
That's good.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it.
What sound bothers you the most?
When my dogs are fighting.
How many you got?
I have an English bulldog too, and they're both alpha dogs, so there's a problem.
And one is a heck of a lot bigger than the other.
Yeah, my bulldog is 52 pounds or so. But they're fearless, so he doesn't care.
Exactly. He doesn't know.
He's like me. He's stubborn and stupid.
Other than your own, what profession would you like to try?
Well, I pretty much did that. I was a cop in Miami for 33 years, and that's what I wanted to do. So
Pretty
I did
cool.
that, and now I do this.
All right.
This is way more better work. Nobody has tried to kill me in my shop yet. Maybe my wife.
I'm about to say that. What would you want on your tombstone?
He made us laugh.
All right. What is it about your personality that drives your business?
Well, that's a good question. I think everything changed in 2016 when I went to the Aeromont School in Tennessee, which is for arts and crafts. And that sent me in a whole different direction from doing regular wood turnings, which was fine, but I was starting to get bored. But this opened up the carving world and the painting, and the intricacies just sent me down a completely different path, and there's no turning back now. Everything I do now is just a blank canvas. So when I finish a turning, when it used to be done, now it's just the beginning.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you that question again. What is it about your personality that drives your business?
I guess for this one thing, I'm very determined to get it right, to take it to a new level. And that's kind of a new direction for me. I didn't used to be that driven. I guess the interest got so high in this particular narrow segment that is just driving me on.
Right. Is it also the suit of perfection or greatness?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't used to have that as much. I guess because I was doing things that a lot of people did. And I was looking to kind of break away from the pack. And I didn't know what to entail. But now I've figured it out. So
I think you have. It's
just much more interesting. And that drive, if you get bored, you lose your drive.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I'm not bored at all.
Good, good.
I keep plugging away, and when I screw it up, I have 3 fireplaces.
What is it about your personality that hinders your business?
I guess, well, I do get frustrated sometimes. You should see me with a computer getting frustrated. Because I found that the more I get into this and you get involved with more people and galleries, and it involves more computer work, and writing and typing and cutting and pasting, and that I'm not good with that at all.
Well, let me tell you the good part about that. Is the more you do it, the better you get at it.
I guess this learning curve for me is pretty steep. Because I'm now spending hours on the computer writing biographies and sending things to galleries, and everybody wants your life story. So it's a lot for me.
Well, there's the copy and pasting. You do your life story one time and just send it to a bunch of people.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Don't tell me you keep writing the same thing every time someone asks. Well, it changes, of course.
Well, I keep changing it because people have different requests, and it's a slow process for me. It's like climbing a mountain, and I'm never getting to the top.
And the mountain keeps growing.
It does. I hate that mountain.
So why don't you just do a general with everything in there and just send it?
I'm working on that now because I just came out in a British magazine called Wood Turning. So they just did a feature on me. So I had to write a whole bunch of stuff for that and email it to England. That took a lot of work for me.
Let me tell you something, right? Even when you email that, it's got to go a long way.
And the pictures and the DPIs and the pixels and all this stuff is a whole separate computer thing. Photo manipulation is not my thing. So I gave up and I pay somebody to do it now.
Steve, come on.
I do. My web designer is my photographer, and I just tell her what these people are asking, and she emails me the corrected stuff.
Wait a second.
Pixels and the size and all that.
Wait a second. So you making these amazing bowls, and you can't send an email in a picture?
Not the right picture. When magazines send you requests for certain DPIs and pictures, first of all, I don't even know what that means.
Right.
So
right.
I just have her do it, and then I send what she sends me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they need a high resolution, a certain size. Yes, no, correct. You may not be able to do that.
And if you do it wrong, you just upset everybody.
Yeah, don't get over that.
Yeah.
Get over that. Who would you travel cross country with on a motorcycle?
My wife. I love motorcycles.
Did you ride one as a cop?
I've had 3 of them, but I haven't ridden in years. But I would like to. I just have to convince that other person that this is a good idea. Not a terrible.
You mean the rational one?
Yeah. The one that's frustrated with me. I could probably ride a motorcycle way better than I could ride a computer.
So, when you were a cop, did you ride a motorcycle?
No, never.
Right.
I didn't like tickets, so that's pretty much in Miami. That's their main focus. I'm not a ticket guy.
What kind of guy were you?
Narcotics.
What was your favorite concert?
I've actually never been to many concerts in my life. I've been to Celtic Women. Does that make me old? I've never been to a rock concert.
What?
Never.
I mean, it's Miami. How could you not go to a concert?
Too busy dealing in drugs.
That's even more reason to go to a concert. So, do you listen to music at all?
I do.
What's your favorite band?
Favorite band? You're gonna laugh. I listen to mostly old stuff, like Elvis, ABBA, old stuff. Yeah, before you were born.
I listen to some old stuff too, but it depends. You're talking about older stuff.
Yeah.
Elvis, who else?
Any of the old rock and roll stuff, I like all of that.
Okay.
When my kids were little and I took them to school, they were forced to listen to oldies on the radio. So they knew all the words to all the songs that were decades before they were born.
Yeah.
And it still holds true today.
Yes, my mom played a lot of old stuff when I was younger.
So I force fed them.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's good for them. And when they become teenagers, they can listen to their own music.
Yep.
When was the last time you cried?
Probably when my last dog died from cancer. That's tough for me.
Yeah. I had dogs too, and I don't get them anymore. I have a cat now, but no more dogs.
I have 2 dogs, 1 cat. And I'll get upset when anything happens to any one of them.
Yeah, they're like family.
I go right out and get another one.
Yeah, they say that's the easiest way to get over it.
Or it means I'm stupid and a glutton for punishment.
Right. Or you like animals.
I do.
Do you hunt?
I do. Seems like an enigma, doesn't it?
About that, would you eat a dog?
No.
What do you hunt?
Deer and wild boar. That's it.
And you eat those?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a vegetarian, so I find it kind of strange. People who love animals and hunt animals.
I find it strange too. I always have.
What impact do you want to leave on the industry now that you're on the internet?
They probably want me off the internet. I would just like to be known for what I do, you know, in the last few years, not before that, but.
Well, all that's a part of you. It's a big transition as well.
It's a good transition, though.
Yes.
I would just like to leave something behind that people appreciate and really like. So I think I'm on the right path.
I think you are too. My battle. But go ahead. So, what was the most difficult time for your business, and how did you overcome it?
Well, that would kind of be now because of COVID. All my art shows were canceled. I had my very first one-man show with a nice gallery. That was canceled. Everything kind of just stopped, you know, but I guess it did for a lot of people.
All of us.
And it's really a kind of a petty problem when you got people with kids and losing their jobs and all that. So
When people got right.
I'm just sitting tight and doing my thing, and hopefully it'll pass soon.
Do you have any Black friends?
Oh, yes.
Do you often see people of color in your industry?
One of my friends is in the industry, Avelino Samuel. He lives in the Virgin Islands.
I met him in Pittsburgh.
Okay. He's a great guy. I learned a lot from him. His friend is somebody I know casually, John Maskell, who's in Tampa, Florida. And the two of them are really tight and work well together. So I've learned a lot from both of them.
All right. I'm going to have to look for those people of color.
Well, they're people of color and they're some of the best in the world at what they do. So I really appreciate, always have.
Okay. Who would you most like to have a conversation with?
In the industry or anywhere?
Anywhere.
I guess one of the most interesting people I have met is someone you may know is Jack Vessery in Maine. I got to know him a few years ago from him teaching me, and he's a fascinating person to talk to. So I spent 3 weeks with him total, and I learned so much. It kind of changed my life, really. So I had always wanted to meet him, and it was just, I was lucky enough to actually do that.
So what do you think when you reach to a certain point in your life, you think you've done a few things, and then you meet someone else, and it changes what you thought about a life that you thought you pretty had covered pretty much?
Oh yeah, then you feel like a baby. And you're starting all over again.
Exactly. All right, so the questions are over. The floor is yours. So we'd like to know your journey, how you got started in this, the things in your life that have pointed to this, etc.
Well, this started as a fluke. I really had no knowledge of it or
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to you being a police officer. So you're a police officer. You were a police officer in Miami for how long?
33 years.
What was the craziest thing that happened to you as a police officer?
I guess the drug wars in the 1980s.
Oh, that's right.
We were the epicenter, and the body count was huge.
Wait. This makes wood turning very uninteresting.
Not to me.
Right? Right. So, wow. So, Pablo Escobar, all those crazy people, well, you were right there.
Yep.
Wow.
I worked in the major narcotics organized crime bureau I did that for 4 years, and I did the other, the uniform patrol and all that stuff. And for 15 years, I did major crime scene, which was probably my favorite job. My day began when your day ended was our motto.
Yikes.
A little black humor, but true. If you saw me at your house, you were having a really bad day.
Yeah, but somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. It was fascinating. Very macabre, but fascinating.
Are there any things in particular that you remember about doing that? Is there anything that you think could change the way we as people behave with each other?
Honestly, no. Money, in that particular instance, money was so motivator that people would do anything. Anything. So the murder rate, it was like people didn't matter.
Right.
If you got in the way, you were dead.
Casualty.
You could pray, you could do whatever you wanted. If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, that's it.
Wow. Now, did you have any hobbies when you were a police officer?
I started the turning in 1998, and I retired in 2007, so you had that period. My hobbies were scuba diving, basically.
Of course.
Technical diving, cave diving. I did all of that stuff, before. But not North Carolina.
Right, yeah. There's no diving there.
No.
Well, not in the mountains anyway.
There's a stream behind my house. I could go roll around in it, I guess.
Yeah, but that ain't no fun.
No.
So you retire as a police officer, and why North Carolina?
Well, my wife is from New York from Poughkeepsie, and I wanted to go. I love New York, so I wanted to go there and retire. And she said something about over her dead body. So we traveled to see the Biltmore Estate, which is here in Asheville. And she looked around the area and said, all right, you can get me this far back north. And then that's it. So they call her a halfback. New York to Miami, halfway back. So I took what I could get, and that's how we ended up here. At least seasons. Miami had one.
Say that again?
Miami only had one season.
Yes,
Hot
it does. Right, it really does have one season. And you were turning in Miami?
Yes, in my garage.
And how did, do you know Perry, Studio Shaw?
Mm-hmm.
He was in Fort Lauderdale, and he
moved to Washington, I think, or Oregon?
Yep, Seattle. So what was your availability for wood in Miami as opposed to North Carolina?
Well, funny you should ask that, because Miami has more exotic woods. Florida has more exotic trees than anywhere else in the country, and Miami or South Florida has more than the rest of Florida. So it was like a nirvana for exotic wood. Anything you wanted, you could get.
So do you still get wood from there?
I don't, because when my interest changed to turning, I don't need exotic woods. I look for something plain, cherry, maple, because you're not going to see it anyway when I'm done messing with it.
That's true. That's true.
So if I have something exotic and beautiful, I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to cover it up with anything.
Right.
But that's not as much fun.
As you found.
Yeah. Teach his own.
Yes. So in Carolina, you get more of the wood that is likely for you to use, that you can paint.
It grows on trees. It's everywhere.
So what is your favorite wood to work with?
Probably cherry. It's very abundant here. Cherry and maple are probably the top two. Bradford pear is another good one. The tree everybody hates. I love it.
Right. And when you first started turning in Miami, what was that like?
Hot.
What turners inspired you at that time?
Well, Avellino Samuel started at that time. But I really didn't know much about the guys that I really I'm following now, like Jack Vessery in Maine and all the French turners. France has some of the best turners in the world. So I didn't really know enough about them. And it's funny because Instagram lets you connect with them and you can talk to them anytime. You know, that's what my web designer was trying to force me to realize, that this is a great tool that you have in your living room and you can talk to anybody in the world.
Yeah, you just got to get over your fear.
That's still there.
Yeah. So what's the furthest you've traveled for classes or to lessons or to meet another turner?
I guess the furthest I've been for lessons is Maine.
Okay.
To the Center for Furniture Craftsmanship in Rockport. I did a week there with Jack Vessery. After doing 2 weeks with him in Tennessee, they were close together. So I got 3 weeks of being taught by the best in the world. So that was a unique opportunity. But I would love to go to France. There's schools there that you really have to commit to for a long period of time. I don't know that that'll ever happen, but.
Have you talked to your wife about that?
No, I don't want to get hit with a stick.
Tell her there's great wine and cheese.
Yeah. And again, she'd say, you left me alone all day.
Yes. Yes.
With wine and cheese.
Yes, there is that thing.
I'd come back and there'd be some guy named Pierre there.
So what inspires you to turn?
I guess I just want to see what I can do next. You know, I try all kinds of different things. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it's terrible, but I like the journey. I like trying. I have a lot of tools at my disposal, and I always want to see what else they can do.
Have you come across something you've been unsuccessful at and are still working on it?
Yeah. That's why I have so many fireplaces. Wood turnings that don't work out make really hot, fast-burning fires. Yeah,
So
I have so much of that I actually just bought a stainless steel fire pit to put right outside the shop door so I can open the door and chuck it in and have my own little disposal system.
all right. What do you want to be in a year?
I would like to be known for what I do specifically.
Well, now that people can find you, you probably will.
I hope this isn't a one-shot deal. I can never get on Instagram again.
No, I think you're good now. I think you're good.
I still think it's a possibility. Remember, we just did this yesterday.
Right. I think before I assume you couldn't get on, I'll probably check with your wife.
But then there's all this laughter and stuff I got to put up with. And disgust.
So a year from now, where do you, okay, you want to be known. How deeper into the Instagram internet thing do you want to get?
Well, I don't really know because I don't know where it goes. I don't know how I got this far.
Right, you don't know what's on the other side.
I don't. There's all kinds of things that you can do to promote yourself, and I'm not sure how to do that. I'm terrible with self-promotion. When people come to me, I'm okay, but I never go to them.
You have a hard time selling yourself.
Exactly. It's
a necessary evil.
It's just not something that's in my skill set. So I'm kind of plodding along like a bull in a china shop.
So do you find that affects your pricing?
Not really. I try and not, I don't know if you call it ego pricing. You know, no matter how much work I put into a piece, if the end result doesn't look right, it doesn't really matter how many hours I put into it. So I tend to price it, you know, for what it looks like when it's done, forgetting the other part. So if it's mediocre, usually now it'll end up in my new fire pit, because I don't want anything out there that embarrasses me. Things I used to think were good, now I just shake my head and go, what was I thinking? And it goes in flames.
So you keep talking about that fire pit. How often do you feed the fire pit?
Probably 3 times a week.
3 times a week. How often, and you turn every day?
Not every day. I tend to turn until I get enough blanks that are dry, maybe 100. And then I stop turning for a while and I start carving on those. So I do everything in like batches.
Stages.
Yes.
Got it.
And my shop is set up so I have a turning part, carving part, and a painting part. You know, stuff.
Can we get a tour?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Do I have to turn this thing around?
Yeah. And listen, there's a button, so you don't need to turn the whole phone around.
Okay. Well, this is my iPad. So,
Yeah, the iPad.
oh,
There's two arrows. Just hit those arrows and it flips it.
I actually see that.
Woo! There you go.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Let me turn some lights on. All right, here's my shop from the entrance. Is that coming through?
Yeah.
So this is my little sandblasting station in there. These are pieces in progress.
Well, slow down. Let's go back to the left. All right, so talk to me. What we got there?
We have a maple hollow form. We have a hickory bowl. Some roughed out bowls up here. They're may end up in the fireplace. Depends on my mood. Partially finished pieces. Sharpening station. This is my mobile carving station.
Yeah, can we get a close up?
Sure.
So what we're working on?
This has everything I need on wheels. So I roll this outside. So carving, lights.
And what's that battery charger for?
That is actually a wood burning setup. So I can wood. It's made by Graham Priddle, who's another artist that I have studied with. He's excellent. He takes a battery charger and he modifies it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that.
No. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I see it now.
And then I've got dental carving tools, reciprocating carving tools, exhaust fan, pneumatic carving tools over here. That's the sound that nobody likes to hear because it's a dentistral.
Yes.
And then this is my mobile tool rack.
Wow.
Everything's on wheels, so I can move it around. Dust collection.
Do you work outside a lot?
As much as I can for carving, because it's on wheels, I just roll it out. This is my lathe, 20 years old.
Wow.
All the accoutrements for turning. This is my painting station. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
And when I talked about, when you said, do I turn every day? These cabinets are full
Let's see.
of my blank canvases.
Nice.
So all these will be carved. You see how plain the wood is?
Yep.
And I sketch ideas on them and then I carve away. So when these are all completely full, then I stop turning for a while.
Okay.
So that's pretty much my goal, is to fill these up. And I wasn't kidding about the fire part. These are my shop doors to outside. So if you open these doors, this is my backyard.
It's nice.
Right down here, I'll show you what I did yesterday. Those are the ones that didn't work out.
Wow.
I wasn't kidding. And that's pretty much the whole shop. And then I also have a clean room. And these are the finished pieces.
Now we're cooking. Can we go in there?
Absolutely. I own the place.
Good. Good. Yeah, if you get a little closer, give us a little span.
Here's some, what I call little pieces.
Very nice.
And then we get into bigger and more complicated stuff.
So, how long have you been on Instagram?
Not too long. I didn't know till I was forced to be on it by my web designer, who thinks I'm an idiot, but I pay her a lot of money, so she has to be nice to me.
Okay, can we get a look to the right? Can we get a look closer to those green ones? Yeah, right there.
This one?
Yeah. It's nice. And the ones below. What about the one to the right? Beautiful.
This is a John Jordan inspired piece right there.
Looks like it.
You can see how much he influenced me.
Yeah.
This is more of a Jack Vessery influence. And then I have larger sculptural pieces. That's cherry. This is a wall hanging. I have a large one. There's some smaller ones.
Beautiful.
This is probably my favorite piece in the whole lot.
Why?
I just like this coral reef kind of texture.
How long did that take?
I don't even know. There's probably 100 hours at least in that, because every little detail in there is put in by hand. There's no magic stamp. It's all done with high-speed dental drills and pyrography, wood burning.
Right.
Same thing for these guys.
Very nice. Okay, go straight. I want to see that straight ahead.
This one?
Yeah. And the one to the right of that. Beautiful. Okay, Dead River Wood Design, Dead River, blah. What would be the cost? What would that be sold for?
Which one? This one?
The one you like.
Oh, this one? This
Yeah.
This one is $3,500.
Okay. All right. I hope that answers his question.
Which is fairly cheap for that type of work. This is my very first teapot. I understand people collect them, so I figure I'll make one. Never made one before, but
It's pretty darn nice.
these are all.
What kind of paint do you use for painting your wood?
I use golden acrylics exclusively.
And Bliss Wood Shop, he did a when you watch it again, go back. He did a view. He videoed the paint area. Very beautiful.
This one I wanted to look like a volcano. I went to Hawaii and saw it coming out of the lava coming out. So
Very nice. Yeah, and oak was the right thing for that too, because it looked like the crevices in the mountain.
yeah, I enjoyed making that. And that's pretty much it for finished stuff.
It's beautiful. Okay, let's look at that burl.
This one,
Yeah,
that's cherry.
that's beautiful. See the four goes, I sees he pays himself $3.50 an hour like the rest of us.
That's shockingly true.
Yep.
If I had to do an hourly rate, I might as well go to McDonald's and flip burgers. It'd be more
Right.
fun.
And at least you get a break. Someone tells you when to stop.
Yeah. Well, I have my wife for that.
It's beautiful work, man.
Thanks. It keeps me off the streets. I'd be homeless.
So this became after you went to North Carolina, after you went to Tennessee.
Yeah, Aeromont.
And how long ago was that?
2016.
Okay.
And right after that, I went to Maine with Jack Vessery. So
Wow, so you've been turning for a while.
I started in 98.
Started in 98, in 2016. Yeah, you were turning for a minute before you got there.
Yeah.
You must have really kicked yourself.
Yeah, I wish that would be my advice. People say, what would you do different?
There we go.
I would
Go ahead.
get formal training way sooner rather than way later. I did way later. You can learn, they say a week at Aeromont is about 7 years of trying it on your own. And even then you might not do it.
Yes, even then.
But they have a few times a year, they have 2-week classes. Now it's expensive.
How much?
About $3,500.
Okay, so let's add that up, right? You were turning from 98 to 2016.
Right.
20 years. So 20 years, you spent $3,500 and you come out and you're a brand new man.
I got all that money back in no time because of the new path.
So it's not expensive, it's cheap.
But if you don't know that going in, you're like, holy man, $3,500.
I know, but that's the thing about ignorance.
It's not. It's stupid.
But that's and that's kind of why we're talking is to share the experience, so people who are into this, are looking to get into it, know what route to take.
It will save you so much time and frustration. If you can
money.
put the money together, you'll get it back. Because what is your hourly rate for just trying things and not working out? Somebody could sit you down and show you the right way to do it, and you can skip all that other stuff.
Yes, get to the good part.
Get to the good part.
Yeah, see, the focus. I spent more on a bad weekend in AC. That's true. That's completely. That's a whole nother thing. If you consider how much you actually waste.
Oh, exactly.
That you don't pay attention to.
I mean, there's still trial and error now. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same thing.
Exactly.
I'm not completely bumbling through the dark. And when I really bumble, there's the fire pit.
Right. I'm into old cars and old Volkswagen and Porsches. And I started out working on the engines. And I got a milling machine, a lathe, boring machines, the whole bit to redo the engines. And it just, I was able to learn it, to do it a little bit, but it was taking me so long to learn it. And I was in it for 2 years, and I hadn't made a lot of progress because I'm learning in my garage and on the weekends. And I quit. And I could have easily gone, taken the lessons with someone, some real lessons, like you mentioned, and been a lot further on. But at the time, I wasn't thinking about that. That didn't come until after.
No.
Yes.
And that's something that is really important. You really don't know how much you don't know. So.
You don't.
And when you go to one of these schools, then you figure it out, and then you feel stupid.
Yeah.
You waited so long to ask.
Yep.
I mean, you got to have good teachers. I mean, just because you can do something well doesn't mean you could teach it well. I mean, teaching is its own skill set, I think.
It is.
And I've been lucky to be with some of the best teachers in the world for what I want to learn. And that's something that I don't think I have that ability. But
I was going to ask, so you don't think you can teach?
I've been asked to do it, and I haven't really done it much.
Why?
COVID canceled my first really teaching class.
Okay, so you are going to do it.
So I was going to give it a try, but
okay. Now let me let you in on another secret. You could do workshops on the internet.
I've been asked to do that too, just the other day, as a matter of fact.
Let me guess what your answer was.
Well, they have a studio set up and all the cameras, so I don't have to. All I have to do is show up. But with COVID, I just didn't think it was a good idea because they have staff and stuff there, and it's I don't know.
No, I mean you could do it from your garage.
Oh yeah, but then I got to have all those cameras and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a little intimidating.
Now, Greg came on Natural Selection Studio. He's in Michigan.
Greg Gallegos.
Yep. It took him a little minute too, but he's doing it now.
Well, you don't realize how lucky you are. I even connected to you.
It's a big step.
That's like jumping off a cliff for me.
What? You landed on both feet.
Yeah, I'm like a cat.
and we need those.
Yeah.
So what does the rest of your day look like? Like, how does your day go? Do people call you and be like, hey, Steve, I got some wood. Do you want it? Or is this someone you go to buy?
I never buy wood. Not anymore. People do call and say, I'm cutting down this tree. Do you want it? Depending on the species, I say yes or no. Or, yeah, I don't have unlimited storage, so it's hard to go get a tree and bring it home, and then what do you do with it? So right now, I'm probably not going to get any more wood for probably a year because I have enough.
You have enough?
I have enough. I have more of a stockpile than I should have.
Right. So. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you got a whole yard full of it.
Yeah, and I got to move it. Pain in the neck.
I heard about you're moving to a new location. I don't envy that task.
No, I was in the yard, and trees coming every day, cut, stack, and not really see.
You have your own.
There. I'm sorry.
You have your own sawmill.
Yeah, 2. And we mill every day. We're just stacking it, milling and stacking it, because a log is no good to you until it's cut.
Right.
And once you got to move that, it has a completely different meaning.
Fire sale.
Yeah. I'm trying to work on that as well. But yeah, there is a such thing as too much wood. I didn't used to think that though.
I used to hoard it, and now, because there's just so much of it here, there's really no need to do that.
Exactly, right.
I like my wood to be wet when I get it. I like it to be fresh, so I can control the drying process. So to have a lot of wood around, you can't turn right away. It just cracks and chips, and then it becomes no good for what I do. So back to the fireplace.
Yes, back to the fire pit. So we got 2 minutes. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, shoot.
Thank you for all of this.
It's my pleasure, man. It's I'm trying to bring us a little closer together.
And now we have more time than ever to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't, but I'm making time.
Yeah, you still have a real job.
Yeah. We have to finish. We're spraying some tables. We're building a hoopah. That's due Thursday.
What's a hoopah?
Okay. You have any Jewish friends?
I do, but they never talk about their hoopahs.
That's because they were married long, long ago. A hoopah is the thing that the Jewish people get married under.
Oh, like a pergola?
Exactly. And this is the second one that we've built. But I asked the same question when I was asked to build it. A hoop?
Oh, a pergola.
And I got a lot of Jewish friends, but I've never been to a Jewish wedding. Well, I think maybe once.
I've been to one.
Yeah, but you don't pay attention to that.
Now, see one pergola, see them all.
Exactly. So yeah, so that's it for the week. That's it for the day for me. The week is to get a plan to move, go see the new landlord, do all of that craziness. But you know, that's part of the journey.
It's a fun journey.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. I can get rid of some stuff that I don't need, and determine how much stuff I really need.
You need a big fire pit.
Yeah, I need a big fire pit, and I'm determined to not leave any cut material in my old yard.
Right.
That's me being petty,
You got a match?
right? Yeah, I gotta get the stuff I want first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So I enjoy doing the conversations. It's a way to learn more, get to know people, and that's brought me to me making a decision to move. Is talking to these people and realizing that, and Jeff just said it, that my overhead is way too much, and I need to spend more time working and less time trying to pay bills.
Life is short. Enjoy it.
Exactly. And my yard alone is $5,000, and I need to cut that in half.
How long have you been doing the conversations?
Since April.
Oh, okay. So I'm sort of in on the ground floor.
Yeah, number 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So,
I could say I knew you when. Before you
Yeah.
were famous.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I love doing it.
Well, that's good. It's been interesting. I love listening to the other guys talk and seeing their